This video will go through the details of the master summary screen. In this screen you have a single line representation of each remote that's registered in the database and is active. So when a unit is online, it will show up here. This is an arbitrary node number that gets assigned as the units are coming up in the network and as they're connected. So these are connected nodes. You've got a couple of others down here that are not connected, but they are registered in the database. The node can be actually brought up. The relay monitor window can be brought up by clicking on the name. So there's ramp 2A. This is a globally unique ID. It's like a MAC address. It is embedded inside the radio and will uniquely identify this unit compared to any others. Now, what we do is we assign a node number to that GUID so that anytime it's connected, you will know which one it is. The node numbers can change as things go on and offline, so that number one is not always assigned to that, but for this session it is node number one is this GUID. This column shows who this node is communicating with, and in this case ramp 2A is talking directly back to master 1, as we saw in the master map screen. And if this changes, if you're repeating from one to the next, the uplink will be to whatever repeating node it's talking to. So this is, and a radio can only have one uplink, so this shows you which uplink he's talking to. Again, there are two antennas on all of the radios. Sometimes we don't use one antenna, so this will be blank. But in this case, we've got them both enabled. And let me go ahead and do that. Let me show you if we turn off the left antenna on this guy, his signal will go to 0 and you'll see a blank here. Don't worry about that because you really only need, if you've got a good signal like this, you only need one of the two antennas to get a good signal. And if there are no dropouts, then you're golden. Things are fine. If you are getting dropouts, you would see packet loss. So this LED would turn red. And then if you're missing poles, you'll see the percentage of missed poles. So every now and then you'll see this blip upward showing a drop pole or a missed pole every now and then. That's okay. No big deal. Again, from this screen you can control the volume of each node independently. You can go down 10 dB down and you can go up 20 dB above. So this gives you full remote control over the volume of each remote unit from here, and this will stick. So when he goes offline and comes back on, the volume will stay where you put it. So when you're tweaking and tuning your network and you're turning some up and some down, they should all come back to the position that you last left them in. And when you do have audio playing, you'll get a green bar indication here. A lot of times when the music is low, in kind of background music, those bars will be very small and just barely showing. But if you do see a green bar, you know audio is coming out of the unit that's showing this indication. And then the average of that audio is shown over here. And again, for background music outdoors, you want to keep this around 5% or below, depending on your town, how close it is to businesses and things like that. But an audio average of about 5% or below is good background level. Now during a festival, parade, public service announcements, you can have this bouncing way up in the middle here. Just keep an eye on things and don't let it get too loud and get people in your town upset. But on a normal daily basis, the small green bars are adequate if this is about 5% or less. If you're getting audio too loud, it will show a clip, which means you need to turn it down because it's actually distorting inside the amplifier. So you don't want any audio going so loud that it clips. And then if the unit is muted, it will show up here. If we're in manual mute mode, which I'll define in more detail later, you can click on this mute button and the mute will come on. So, and you'll see it went back off, so that means we're not in manual. We've probably got the scheduler enabled. But if it is in manual, you can click here, it will mute, and if the scheduler is not turning it back off, it will stay muted. So that's each line, and as you get more and more and more units, you've got up to about 50, I think, in this vertical bar. You can scroll up and down and see down the page. So that's an overview of the master summary screen, and we'll go to the scheduler next.